Good morning, all. Thank you all for joining. Just making sure everyone can hear me okay and letting everyone know that this session will be recorded, just to make sure that you all have a copy. Levy, I'll just confirm. I'll just let everyone in. Good morning, everybody. Just making sure everyone can hear me. If you could just do a yes in the chat, that would be great. I've turned off mics just so we can get through. We've got a little bit of content this morning. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop any questions you've got in the chat. Levy will be joining me as a co-organizer, so he'll help answer any of those questions if I miss them along the way. Just letting everyone know as well, this session will be recorded and available if you do need to revise any of the content at any point. And it looks like we're just missing a few more people. They're just still coming in, so might be just be a few more minutes and we'll get started on the presentation and demonstration of the system. But again, thank you all for joining us today. Won't be too much longer. Might just give it one more minute and then we'll get started. Excellent. Okay, so what I might do is just switch my camera off for a moment while we start going through the presentation, and then we'll get started. Okay, Libby, if you could just keep an eye on any latecomers and just admit them into the meeting, that'd be great, and we'll get started now. So thank you again for all coming today. As you know, we've made some changes to the current contractor portal systems that you guys have currently been using. What we're going to cover today is why we are changing, how to log in, the homepage, how to add and remove employee profiles, how to mobilize employees, items requiring attention, managing expiries, how to create user accounts, company branching, and how to contact us and the help desk if you need support. Currently, the systems that we've currently had the contractors using at the moment, you'll see this one would be familiar. Well, this is where we would generally order training and inductions. We would create and register registrations and profiles, and then you'd see this this company portal down the bottom, which is a little newer as well. This is where we would mobilize staff to a particular site like Origin. Then once an employee profile has been created and they've been mobilized to the appropriate site, the site would then have visibility over that particular contractor. Now, that's not generally something that you guys would see, but from the actual site's point of view, they would get visibility that they've done their inductions. This was a two-part process. This has now been made into a one-part process, so no more toggling between two different systems. It's all going to be in the one place. The system does look different. As you can see here, it's got a new fresh look and feel. My system, when we do a demo, will look a little bit different as I do have different permissions, but we'll go through that process after we're finished with this presentation. You'll see that you can actually toggle between company and your employee account as well. There's one single sign-in, as I mentioned before, so no more needing to switch between the two different company portals. So as I said, so you'll now be able to follow this process by adding a new employee and then begin the mobilization. This all happens in this one portal under the work company site. Everything you have been able to do in the old system from step 1 through to step 6 is all going to be in the one place, including the mobilization part of it. So it's basically you follow each one of these steps, and the employee will then become fully added into the system. They will be registered with the SkillPass registration, and then they would have that mobilization. So instead of this process taking approximately roughly 2 business days to complete by the time all the documentation has been processed by the processing team and applied to the profile, and then waiting for inductions to be posted out as well. That generally takes about 24 hours now, provided all the information that's been provided to us is the correct in the correct format, is the correct document, is valid, those sorts of things. Then you would just go into the payment section, make the payment as well. So you won't need to use usernames to log into the system anymore. The URL is below. You can also access it via the original website that we had. So you go to skillpass.com.au, click login. You would have seen now that there's actually a little section that says, do you want to use the new system? You're welcome to start using it now, that we're going to go through this training to make sure that you are comfortable with it. The new system will fully take over roughly by the end of the year or early next year. So that'll be then full EPP. That's what we'll be using moving forward for the contractor portal. But you can still get access to it that way or log in via this EPP URL. On the home page, you will see there's a dashboard here. So it'll give you some information on mobilizations needing attention. So some of the language is a little bit different from what you're probably used to. So mobilizations is also sort of known as inductions. So a mobilization would be a set of requirements dictated by the site. So say Origin, they have several different mobilizations for you to select from. So that would be what you would apply to the employee's profile, and then any job role required as well. So the mobilization would have its own set of requirements, and then the job roles would have its own sets of requirements as well. So what we're wanting to do is make sure that we're applying those correct mobilization and job roles to the employee, and then you'll get green ticks against their name. As you can see here in this test one, we've got 18 that are requiring information. Sessions soon, but not yet to be confirmed. So that would be any training inductions that have been booked within this part of it. And then total in progress. So this section is literally only about the mobilizations in progress. Then you've also got employee expiries. So expired within the last 3 months. It's as simple as a click of away. You would click on that, it would bring up those 4 instances. Alternatively, you can have a look within the next 3 months what's looking to expire, and you can try and get in front of it. Now, we do send out an email monthly just to let you know, check your expiries, make sure that all your people are compliant. If you're not receiving them, let us know. Send us an email through to admin@skillpass.com.au. It might be that the contact email address isn't the correct email it should be going to, and we can look at getting that fixed up or even show you how to do it. Up the top of the system, we'll go through this again when we go into it, but this is as a test, this is the company name, so that'll be your company. Then you've got branches. So branches would be if you had different sites across Australia, for example, you could have Energy Skills Queensland, Sydney, or Energy Skills Queensland, Queensland, Victoria, Tasmania, whatever it might be. So you can have different branches under the parent company. And if you are wanting to do a search, you would just pop the SkillPass number in here or the name, and then you would click enter or the little search bar here, and that would go look for it. So that's all the information you really need to know from this particular section. So this would be us going into the system and bringing up a profile for an employee. So we're going to use our test Mia Sullivan today, and I'll be using her in the presentation, in the demonstration as well. So this will be popping the information in here. This is all the information you'll see. So it's all in one place. You can see that Mia's name is here. Her SkillPass number is here. She's actually permitted to go onto 3 different work sites with 3 different terminals if terminals are required. Mia has 16 different job titles. So what you would be able to do, you can click on that and it would actually bring up all the job titles, and then you can open that up again and it'll show all the job titles and their requirements. This is the company that Mia's actually associated with, and you can click on that and that would then bring up all the company details. That'll basically be all your company information. You would then have any crews that Mia is assigned to, and then department if required. Then if you come down here to tabs, so you've got mobilisations, skill records, learning paths, access control, health and safety, employee details, product access. Some of these you will not have access to. I'll show you the ones when we go into it that you really need to pay attention to, but it's basically going to be mobilisations, skill records, employee details. Then underneath that, you've got the mobilisations here. You can see that she's got 3 that are actually current and active. So she's met all the requirements that fall underneath these particular mobilisations. However, this one isn't compliant. It's an inactive registration. If you want to know more, you would click on details and it would drop it down and show you what's actually outstanding. Now, to complete the mobilisation, you would click on company management, and then you would go mobilize an employee. So you can start from the beginning by adding a new employee, or you can add an existing employee. So if it's an existing employee that's already been put into your system that you're just going to have to start mobilizing to the Origin site, you would just select who that person is, and any requirements that actually satisfy the needs of that mobilization will automatically be captured. Anything else will show up in red, and that's something you'll need to upload later on. Again, the mobilisation does take about 24 hours for that allowance for the document processing and approval. And once that's been established, we'll send through email results either saying that the requirements have been met or we need to resubmit some documentation for whatever reason. So when you're mobilising an employee, you would need to ensure that you have the correct mobilisation line. So as I said, at the moment, there's 3 different mobilisations for Origin. If you're not sure what you're supposed to be mobilising to, you'll need to reach out to your Origin contact person, and they can actually point you in the right direction. Each one of those mobilisations have different set of requirements. So don't just have a stab in the dark, just do double check it to make sure that you are compliant before going out on site. So items requiring attention. So these are if a mobilisation's been selected and we still need particular information, or if it's a job role, maybe it's a SkillPass registration that needs to be paid because that is going to be a requirement, then you would find that under it'll be selected in red. So you would just essentially go click on it and for more information, and it would direct you on how to rectify that by either uploading or fixing the registration. It'll point you in the right direction. It'll also show if there's been, say, a driver's license, and I'll just confirm this is, I'll just clarify this as well. Recently, we've sent out, or DMStra have sent out the requirement for uploading photo ID. It used to be the front and the back of the card. It's now only the front of the card it will be accepted. So I just wanted to confirm that, because it does say here, front and back of card needs to be uploaded separately. The front is now fine. But in this instance, the item requiring attention was that reason, because the photo ID that was uploaded at the time wasn't both the front and the back. It was only the front, so we needed both. But now front and back is just the front of the document is fine. So then you would go and upload that to the profile. Just allow again 1 business day for that to be processed, and then you should see that reflected. If it's not, you'll get that email from the processing team letting us know, why is it not getting accepted. And if you do have any questions as to why a document's not being accepted, or a photo, please let us know. Just send through a copy to admin@skillpass.com.au, just letting us know so we can actually assess it as well. And if in the event that we need to reach out to the team because it is an acceptable document, we can push that through, or we can sort of have a look at it and come back to you guys and just be like, oh, well, we can't accept this one because there's a lot of images in the background, and it's going to distort the photo when we upload it to the SkillPass card. So we can give you that feedback as well. Managing expiries. As I said, you're going to get that email monthly, so do encourage you to jump into the system and check the expiries. You can do that by clicking on that expiries tab. It'll show everything that's going to be expiring in the next 3 months or has expired in the last 3 months, making sure that we get as many of those red circles ticked green, and then you guys will be compliant. So it is a simple system. You're just uploading that document again, like a fix this, just into this section, and then that'll get sent through for processing, which should be reflected on the account within a business day. This is an example of that email that gets sent out to you monthly. Again, if you haven't seen it, or you do, if you want to get access to it, please let us know. And then you're able to also create your user account. So in that slide column here, you'll see there's a system setting. We'll walk through that in a second. Very straightforward. You would just click on this green button up the top, create new company user. You'd add in a company name, just an email address, what kind of permissions you want to give them. So standard permission is basically a view only. Other than that, you've also got admin, which is able to update your company details. So if you're wanting someone that has that authority, you can set them up that way. But yeah, other than that, it's just standard view only. And then work sites, this user can see. So if you've got multiple, you can select, or you can just have the one. And then you've got branching, which is what I briefly touched on a little earlier. So branching again is if you've got a main company with multiple different sites, you can start making branches now to make things a little bit easier to manage. It's pretty straightforward. You would just go and pop in all the information into this section, and then that would then get sent across for approval. There is a different function within this system, and it's a live chat. So it's basically 24 hours, Monday to Friday. And then even on Saturdays and Sundays, you'll have someone available in the team chat between 9 and 6. So what you would do is at the bottom of the system, there's a little chat bubble down here, which you'll be able to see. If you click on it, it'll automatically open this chat, hit the SkillPass button. It'll then ask you to enter in your name and your email address, and then it'll ask for it'll give you a bit of a drop down and some options as to what the inquiry is about, so you do get directed into the right area. Once you've done that, it generally takes about a minute or two, even quicker sometimes, and someone will pick up that chat, and then they'll be able to give you that assistance live right then and there when you need it. So feel free to use that function. Other than that, You have the option of giving us a call at SkillPass. We're available Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 5 on that number you can see listed here. That number is also on our website, or shoot us through an email to admin@skillpass.com.au and we'll be able to assist you that way. So that's the presentation thus far. So what we might do is I'll just see if there are any questions and then we'll move into the demonstration. Just go to the chat. Okay. So I can see that there's a message from Kylie Payne. So look, there are times where we can try and get things, we have been able to try and get things moved across. The new system does take 24 hours for us to get the actual registration and the mobilization completed because we have to allow the processing team the right amount, well, the allowed amount of time of 24 hours to get the documents uploaded and and then accepted the registration. Are there any other questions? Sandra, will employees that are currently inducted into SkillPass be carried across to the new system along with their expiry dates? Yes, everything will be exactly as it is in the new system. So basically the new systems do everything the same. It's just all in the one place. So nothing will change with the actual profiles, the registrations. It'll all be automatically moved across. So you guys can actually jump in and start using the new system now, and everything's going to be in there. You'll just need to go in and mobilize those Origin contractors. So you would have received you probably would have received an email a little while ago in regards to mobilizations for Origin and selecting the right job roles. So now would be a good time to get in there and start mobilizing those contractors to the Origin site to make sure that they're compliant. But again, if you don't know what mobilizations that you need to choose from, you'd need to reach out to that Origin contact person and they would be able to identify which one you'd need to select for your employees. No problem. Okay. Right. What we'll do is we're going to just move into the demonstration of the live system. So again, please note my system does look a little bit different to what you're going to have access to. It's just I've got a few different permissions, but I'll show you all the relevant stuff for you guys, and then we can go from there. So just give me 1 second and I'll share my screen. Perfect. Okay, so this is obviously you've seen this website before. So this is the skillpass.com.au website. So you are able to use that URL that I provided in the slide before. However, you can still log in the same way. So if you go log in, administrator, go log in, it'll automatically bring up some information for you, or it should do. So this would have been a very familiar system that most of you have been using. So as you can see, there's this new blurb that sits above the tiles down the bottom here. You can try the new system. So if you jump into this, you'll be able to enter the Enterprise Protection Platform, which is known as EPP. So I'm just going to change it to a test profile. So just bear with me 1 second. So it's just going to load all the mobilizations in progress. So that just takes a minute. But as you can see here, if we just have a look at it, we'll go through the whole page. So you've got up the top here, this section will allow you to toggle between the user interface and the company. So you'll be able to go, yours will say manage your company or your employee account. That will just show your employee account. You've got that one there. Other than that, it'll just show the company details here. So this is really what you're going to be wanting to see. Then you've got any branches that are attached to, say, Energy Skills Queensland. We don't have any on here, but if you did, you could toggle then between the branches as well. You could pop in a SkillPass number and do a search. So you could look for, let's say, Mia Sullivan. She's already been located. Let me just bring her up. Yeah. So pretty straightforward. You can just bring up any profile that way, and that'll bring up all that information. It'll load all the mobilizations job roles. But we'll touch back on that in a moment. We'll just go quickly back to the home page and just down to the employee mobilizations in progress. So I'll just click on this one. So you're actually able to mobilize an employee from this section, which will actually, you can mobilize that employee by either setting up a new employee or an existing employee. So we'll just do an existing employee for the moment, and then it'll give you a list of everyone that's in your company. So we'll do Mia. And then now you can select a mobilization for that employee. So the mobilizations would be, if you type in SkillPass or Origin, you can click that one. And then you would select your option. So there's 3 different options to choose from. So if they've already got a mobilization, it'll actually gray out so you can't double up. So if you wanted to select a different one, you needed to select a different one, you could. So you just click operations and then continue. Okay, so now that we've selected that mobilization, so you can see Mia has the Origin Energy Integrated Gas Operations Induction Mobilization. You can now select a job role. So you would come down here and pick whichever job role is appropriate. So there's the list. If you're not sure what the job role is, again, refer back to the Origin contact. They'll be able to point you in the right direction and make sure you're selecting the right ones. And then you would select this one, and then you would send for verification, and that's the part which would also take 24 hours. It was within the 24 hours, and then you'd be able to move on to the next section here, which is the employee requirements. So we've already got the employee details in there because that was already an existing profile. So you would click on employee requirements now and go through and make sure, yep, okay, green, there's a passport style photo that's been uploaded. So if there wasn't, you could just upload a new version here if you need to. And then you would scroll down, and these are the requirements that sit underneath that job role. So you'd have to go and upload the documents that are required. You would drop it into here and hit upload and just follow suit. Then you'd be able to organize any online training, but we'll touch base on that in a moment. So I'll just run back to the so that's basically the verification process. Oh, sorry, the setting up of a mobilization for an employee. Just go back. Then you can set up a new employee. So we'll go worksite. Origin. Now you can see that that other option was unselected because we're setting up a new employee, so there's no mobilization selected for that person. So you would just do the mobilization first, then continue. So this section, so basically the only thing you would need to worry about are these two parts, because we just went through the job roles and the employee requirements. What you would do in here is you would just set up a new employee as you normally would. So just ensure that you've got their name, their date of birth, you've got some photo ID because you'll need to upload that against the profile as well, and a passport style photo, making sure that they've got their most current address up to date and email address. That's where we send their inductions. So if you're using, just be mindful that when we do send out inductions, sometimes we have their personal email addresses applied to these profiles. So that could be where it's actually gone. So always double check when you're sending out inductions if it's their actual work email address or if it's their personal one. Then just entering in the next of kin and their contact information. And then you would be able to, I'll just move that out of the way. And then you would just go pay, you can save and continue later, or you can pay and send for verification, which that's that 24-hour period. So pretty straightforward there. And you just need that photo and photo ID, but only the one side now. And if we go back to home, this will show session soon to be soon, but not yet confirmed. So that is in regards to training. And then you've got total in progress. So that's the amount of mobilizations. You can also select here and to mobilize an employee, which is the same section as before. And then if you move over here, you've got employees expiries. So I'll just click on that. There's 16 that need attention. So you can see there's job title requirements. I'll have the 8 there. It'll show what's required. So supply skill pass fee. So we need to go in for these people and upload a skill pass fee. And then you've got expires in the next 3 months. Gives you a bit of a snapshot on what that looks like. So if you go here, you'll find, particular job roles or driver's licenses, mostly that information. So you would just go, let's say here, driver's license, and you would just drop that file in here, start date and expiration, and then, or as of today, and then you would just, is this a card or a license, yes or no? And then you would send for verification and allow for a business day. Perfect. And then you've got all expiries, sorry, I forgot that bit. So that'll just give you a snapshot of everything that you need. So you can toggle that. You would have had access to that. It just would have looked a little bit different. So you can do only upcoming expired, or change those parameters to suit what's, I guess, more suitable, what it is you're looking for a particular person. Then if we go down to workforce management, this will give you a list of all of your employees. So you'll see their photos, their names, their skill pass numbers, and you can easily click and select on their profile. So if we go down, I'll find Mia. It'll take you back to the Mia profile, which we went through before. Then you'll be able to, so if you have a look at the work site, so we've basically went through quite a few of these things already, but we'll just click on them anyway. So active mobilization requests. Just takes a little while, sorry guys. So this will basically show anything that's been approved or it needs to have more work done to any of those mobilisation requests. Here we go. A lot of these are tests, but yeah, you'll see that you've got 12 confirmed or denied for whatever reason, cancelled, might not have been required at the end of it, yet to send for verification, or attention required, which is what we clicked on before, just showing those people needed skill pass, registrations, or do they need their driver's licenses updated because they've been expired, that sort of information. So it's another way to get into that. Mobilize an employee, we've done that. You're also able to see your company documents. So if you've got any documents attached to this, you'll be able to come in here and have a look. We'll just see what we've got here. I believe there's a mobilisation document that's attached to all of your company profiles. Just go in and have a look at that. If there's not, let me know. But I'm not in the Origin, I'm not in any of your sites, so I can't actually show you, but there should be a mobilisation document as to what mobilisations are we have, what the requirements are that sit underneath that. There's also, I believe, a TNA or training needs matrix in there. So have a look at that when you get some time. Then you've got you won't need to worry about company questions. So there you go. So this would be if you had any requirements. It's not really relevant to you on this side because it's just public liability and workers' comp. However, if there's any documents that you do need to get access to, they'll be in this section here. Then you've got employees expired. So just click on that. We don't actually have any employees expired at this point to show you, but you'll be able to see that. And then the only other document would be here. So this is the section which will have your mobilisation documents. So you would just click on these documents and it'll have all that information in there. Then if you go down to online lessons, so you'd be able to book your inductions here. So you schedule a lesson. So you go select, just do. And then you would be able to select, you can now select one or multiple. You don't have to go in and select one at a time. So you go and select which inductions you need to get booked. And then you would just, so if you do like that, it's an example. And then schedule to individual employee. You would just pop in the person's name, or you can actually send it to multiple people. You don't have to do it just to the one person each time. Once you've done that, you would just click pay, and then that would then release those inductions within approximately 2 to 4 hours after paying and payment accepted. The other section that you would really need to get access to in this would be the company details. So this would be all your company information. Sorry, just leave. So this will be all your company details. You can update your address as long as you've been listed as a company administrator. So all this information will be in this section. Then you've got company branches, which is what we touched on before. So you would go up here and create branch and fill in that information. And then user login accounts. So this part's pretty straightforward. If you're needing to add someone, you would click this button here, add a username and an email address, select whether they're a standard user or an administrator, and then the site, and then just create user. That'll automatically send through some login credentials to that person, and then they can log in, change their password, and start using the system. Then you've got employees. So in this section here, this is actually all of your employees that have access to the SkillPass mobile app. You can see that they've all got valid accounts, and then you can click View History. Not sure why it's doing that. Update contract. Generally, I'll have to double check that, but basically it'll just show all of the company contacts that are valid or not valid, because I haven't clicked on the link that's been emailed through, but I'll just double check that because that should have come up. And then change history, so it'll just show anything that's been actioned on your company profile. But if we go back to the Mia account, just go back in here. Just taking a minute. So what we'll do now is we'll start having a look at the actual employee profile and what you can actually get visibility over. Stop doing its thing. Sorry, guys. There we go. Getting some movement now. Just while that's loading, is there any other questions? Go here. Yeah. Go down to the Mia profile. Open her up. Where is she? There she is. So you can click on her name here, or you can click on the profile. Okay, perfect. So we're in her profile now. So what we want to do is we'll have a look at these tabs. So we've looked at mobilizations, skill records. So this will show what she's actually got on her profile. And you can expand all. It'll give you some other information so you can actually see the actual documents as well. You can see. It'll show when it was notified. It'll show when it was added to the profile. Let's bring this up. Now, when adding job roles, you can add them at the point of the mobilization, but you will need to have all the requirements for that job role to complete the registration. If you don't have them all at that time, you can then add SkillPass General as the job role, and then email admin@skillpass.com.au, the name of the individual, their SkillPass number, and what job role needs to be applied to that SkillPass profile, and we can go and add it in after the fact. At this point, you guys aren't able to continue adding job roles. That'll need to be done by us. So I'm just going to bring this information up. So this person has a mobilization. You can see that it's invalid. And we'll have a look at what the actual requirement is. So in this instance, if we click on it, it's missing all these inductions. as below, and then these. So you would then go and see it's not complete. You'd need to go and complete that. Once you click on it, it'll actually show you what the acceptable documents are we can upload against a particular profile. So just have a look through those, making sure that it is the right one, and then you can go through and upload that document against the profile as shown before. So I think that's pretty much everything on the employee's profile. That's basically the rundown on how the system works. Now, what we'll do is, I guess, open the questions up to you guys. Find out if there's anything that you need extra assistance on, or is there any questions basically that we can go through while we've still got some time left. Okay. Looks like Libby's answered a few. So Lara, is the portal currently up to date with all of our current employees? Should SkillPass induction show under skill records? So it's the systems will reflect the exact same information from the older portals to the new ones. Nothing's going to change there. It'll be all the same information that gets moved across. It's just how to navigate the system now. So really get in there, get your hands dirty, use the system as much as you possibly can. As I said, we'll only have it for roughly a month and a half now. Before we completely transition over into that new system. So the more you use it and get comfortable with it, the better. Scott, I might get you to just shoot me an email just with that information, if that's okay. That's probably one that I'll have to take offline and just have a look into the actual profile and just work out what's going on with that one. Thank you. Just shoot it through to admin@skillpass.com.au. That'd be great. Thank you. Guys, is there any other questions I can help, or is there anything you'd like me to walk through? Again, this session is recorded, so you all have access to it. Is there a traceable as senior employee records? Sorry, John, are you meaning like who's accessing the employee records within your company as an administrator? Absolutely, Kylie, we can get that sent across. Uh, In regards to accessing the profiles, John, I don't think that anyone should be able to get access to those company records other than those that are appointed as in your SkillPass company portal as administrators or standard support, other than SkillPass and the processing team. You would have to mobilize your employees to an Origin site so they could get access to the profile, so they can get visibility of their compliance when they go prior to going out on site. Yep. So the way that the new system works, when you're mobilizing to a particular site, It's going to just give you the list of those Origin mobilizations. If you're wanting access to the other sites or the other inductions available, you can mobilize to that site or use the SkillPass. So you would essentially mobilize to a site, and then you would get access to all those different inductions that you can select from. So just to avoid confusion, adding mobilizations that sound similar but are actually for a different site. Sorry, inductions to a different site. Might just wait a couple more minutes. Well, thanks, guys. Look, if you do have any other questions, please let us know. Just email through to admin@skillpass.com.au. We're only too happy to help. We'll get back to you as soon as practically possible. Also, if you do get stuck and you do need assistance, you've also got that live chat function, which is just down the bottom of the screen. So one of our support team will be able to jump in and give you a hand. But apart from that, I think we're done, unless there's any other questions. Awesome, guys. Look, thanks again for your time. I really appreciate it. Again, reach out if you need. Only too happy to help. Thanks, guys.